Hey everybody, we're back into our second series of the talking about my little old hometown of Siloam Springs. So where am I at now? Well, let me show you. All right, now I'm out by a lake. But let me clarify a couple things in my last video. You know, I've been gone for about a year and I haven't forgot everything, but then again, I can't remember a lot of things. So I would not make a good historian at this point, because as most of it is accurate, every once in a while I get the wrong dates or something in there. So let me go back and clarify a couple of things on my last video of the downtown of Siloam Springs. The olive and opal store, as I mentioned, I have trouble with these because when you talk about relations and relatives, etc. else, the store is owned by my daughter's sister-in-law, which was an easier way of saying the daughter of my mother, daughter's, one of those. It got really confused. Anyway, my daughter's sister-in-law and her husband own the Olive and Opal in downtown Siloam Springs. And as I was going through and realizing that the John Brown University, the Christian University, started in 1919, not 1929. So I got close. I don't want to be fact checked and be wrong on things, but if I am, I am. But it was in 1919, so it's been a little over 100 years. I remember when they had their 100th anniversary was a big deal here in this little town. And the third thing, the last thing I want to do is talk about is the restaurant I had. I did not own the building. I just leased the building, but I just owned the restaurant part. So that's why it was easy to basically sell the restaurant and not the building. But yeah, we're here outside of the town, just a couple miles. I come here often with the dog, and this is called City Lake. Uh, I like to call it Lake Seldom. The reason why I call it Lake Seldom, because I have been out here many, many times before we actually left. We spent a lot of time out here, and I'll circle around and show you the bus in a minute. Just a parking lot. You can't stay overnight, but you can sit out here for the day. But yeah, Lake Seldom, because as many times as I have been out here, very seldom do I see people catch any fish. I know they're out there, but from the bank, fish is not so great. There's catfish and there's bass and there's perch and there's all different kinds of fish. Most of the things I see people catching are the tree limbs, with the fishing lures and bobbers and things. So it's kind of hard to get through and cast a line out on the shore, but further over there is easier than over here where I'm standing. So let's see what else we're going to do. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the lake. Like I said, it's just a couple miles from town, so this is our daily hangout. And then when I get my business finished in town, we're going to head out to the National Forest, which is probably 8 or 10 miles away. So it's not too far away. So everything is pretty close and relative. And this whole area, as I mentioned, this part of Siloam Springs area, what we're in, is called a bedroom community, from the Northwest Corridor, which is the Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville, which is the fastest growing part of the state of Arkansas. And so this is kind of a carryover and, a little ways off. So that's why it's kind of nice to have lived here. It's a smaller town, but it's close to the bigger areas. You don't have as much craziness and traffic, and if you want to go shopping or whatever, just take a 45-minute drive and go do it. But we'll continue on this video. We're going to show you around the lake a little bit, and then we'll continue on our little tour of Siloam Springs. I want to go back through and look at the Ehrlich Motor Works, which is the Porsche and BMW, etc. European car sales and show you guys, around the inside. They do more than just sail, they also work on them. And then we'll show you the other side of the downtown. I only put on one side on the video because, as I was walking, I didn't realize it took a little longer than I thought to walk through and talk about uh, part of the buildings, not all of them. So we'll continue that in the next video. And as of this lake, it's a very heavily used bird lake. So there's a lot of birds on this lake. We'll try to zoom in as far as I can. There are some geese floating by, and over on the right is a flock of cormorants. Cormorants are basically a water bird, but they've got to be um, up on something so their feathers can dry, so they can fly. So they once their feathers get wet, they're pretty much, kind of waterlogged, but they have to dry themselves off. And on that space right there, point again, there, I call that Bird Island. It doesn't have a name, I don't think, but it's a little island that's surrounded by water. And in the fall, when the leaves are gone, you can see bald eagles and different birds come through. But this lake has got a lot of ducks and geese, and I think swans have come through. I've seen a bunch of white other birds last time. I think they're like a gull of some sort that would flock through here and fish. And the cormorants are here. So it's a very heavily used and very quiet bird lake. It has restrictions on the lake of, I think, a very small motor, so you really don't make any wake and any water noise, to disturb too much. But kayaking is good, and paddleboarding, and very, I think, 8 horsepower motor or something very small. So, but yeah, we'll walk around the lake over here in the area. There's a parking lot. There's the bus. That's where I park at during the daytime. And then we leave, and then, go off somewhere else and spend the night. The advantage of having your, little home on big wheels. And this is a small lake. It's not very deep. It's actually right over on the other side is a dam that holds it up, just a big stream fed. So it's not very big. It's, like I said, I think it's about 30 feet deep at the most, but nice little lake. The city used to have, yeah, somebody's car going off. There we go. They got the car alarm turned off. They're trying to get the battery jumped, and it's setting the alarm off. But the city used to pump water out of this for their use years ago, and they have moved it to a different location. So this is now just a fishing lake. It's got a little boat dock, and you can launch kayaks and things off of. This is a recent addition, and a couple of houses around, but pretty quiet. And as we walk around, I can hear the cormorants, birds, back on the other side of the lake, squonking and honking. They sound like geese, but they got a little different tone to them when they were making noise. And they're loud. You hear them clear over here. A lot of turtles in here, and different fish, and a little bit of trash, but not much. They keep it pretty clean out here. A lot of trash cans, and they pick up trash about once or twice a week. A lot of birds just sit flying around. A lot of vultures, buzzards, I call them, that are flying through here. They roost up in the trees. And this lake does freeze over. I have been out here in the wintertime and seen eagles out here walking on the lake on the frozen part of the lake. It doesn't get real thick, but big enough, thick enough for birds to walk on, but not for people. And there's several walnut trees in this area. And the walnut trees usually lose their leaves early because the little round balls are walnuts and they'll start falling off. And they have. They're all over the ground. So you can hear them plop, plop, drop, drop, and then every once in a while hit a vehicle or something, but full of walnuts. We'll head back to the bus because just noticed my phone is acting up. I've lost my my SIM card is showing not available, and it's done that a couple times. Now I have no network, so I guess it's time to go to the phone company in town and maybe time for an upgrade. Let's head back to town. And we're back at the lake the next day. Good news, my phone did not need to be upgraded. It just needed a new SIM card, which evidently is from what I use Verizon. The guy said, yeah, pretty standard. So we'll just change it for no charge. So anyway, we'll finish the video here at the lake because it's very windy today and keeps blowing my camera over. So I use my camera iPhone, so that's why. And it blows it over and the wind's blowing real hard. So we'll end the video, say thanks for watching, and see you guys around the town.